The question of, who am I, is one that has been repeated throughout the ages. The Greek philosopher, Socrates, is known to have asked,
Τι έστι?
who am I? Sometime around 450 BCE. Socrates did not know the answer. I do not know either. On a simplistic level, I can tell you that my name is David Chin. I can tell you that I am 63 years old and that I am a dual certified teacher who spent 17 years in elementary classrooms and 15 years teaching high school culinary arts. I can tell you that I hold a bachelor's in education, a master's in curriculum and instruction, and an associate's in culinary arts. I can also tell you that I'm autistic. I was clinically diagnosed with level 1 autism in 2019. Part of the reason I have problems with understanding the question, who am I, is because I mask. Long before I knew that I was autistic, I concealed my social awkwardness through role-playing. I used my imagination and my ability to role-play to create a veneer of normalcy to role-play different personas.
Avant, marche. Va à la boulangerie et prends-moi un croissant. Fais-le rapidement.
This is not to say that I have a Napoleon complex or that I actually think that I'm an astronaut. I use those examples as amusing metaphors for the very real fact that masking enabled me to be a teacher for 32 years. As part of the process of masking, I forced myself to make eye contact. I suppressed my tendency to twitch my fingers as a self-stimming response. I forced myself to tolerate the bright lights overhead and to endure being in a crowded classroom with noisy students. The unintended cost of doing this was that it raised my overall levels of stress. At the time I quit my job last October, my doctor told me that my blood pressure was so high that I was within just a few points of being involuntarily hospitalized because I was at high risk for having a cardiac event. I sometimes feel like an alien who has been sent to this planet to observe humanity. Despite many years of life experience, there are a great many things that neurotypicals, non-autistic people, do that I just don't understand. The ties that bind people together through friendship, the emotional intimacy of romantic love, and the love of family are all concepts that seem completely alien to me. While I understand the concepts of friendship, romantic love, and the love of family from an intellectual viewpoint, I don't feel anything on an emotional level. In this, I suppose that it's fortunate that by nature, I am a reclusive introvert, otherwise I might feel quite lonely. As it is, I enjoy the time that I spend alone at home with no other company than my 4 cats.
Number 2. Describe yourself as a learner.
As a learner, I am visually oriented. I like to be hands-on. I am project-oriented and have the autistic ability to hyper-focus on the task at hand to the exclusion of everything else. My hyper-focus is such that I have started projects like this video and have worked on it from start to finish throughout the night and into the following morning. When I finally finished, I became acutely aware of the fact that I was cold, hungry, sleepy, thirsty, and that I also really needed to go to the bathroom. All of these physical needs hit me at the same time. In terms of study, I have found that I always do best when I'm interested in a subject. I find the coursework for special education to be interesting. I was completely bored when I enrolled in an administrative program 2 years ago.
Number 3. What are your goals for this class?
My goals for this class are to complete all assignments, to learn and to grow, to do the best job I can, and to practice interacting with others via class discussions.
Number 4. Describe your experiences with individuals with disabilities.
As a regular classroom teacher, I have worked with special education students throughout my 32-year-long career. I have read student IEPs. I have implemented the required IEP accommodations. I have cooperated with the special education case teachers to let them know about student progress. I have also kept parents informed as to how their child was doing in my class. I was proactive in my belief that close contact with parents and special education teachers was important because heading off small problems before they became major issues made more sense than ignoring students and allowing them to fail.
Number 5. When you are finished with this program, what will your role be with special education students?
I hope to re-enter the teaching profession as a special education teacher with an endorsement for autism.
Number 6. What do you already know about special education students?
Students with disabilities have legal protections under the Americans with Disabilities Act, as well as the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. Each student being processed into special education must undergo an IEP meeting in order to determine how the student's special needs may best be met. IEP meetings must be held once per year to review student progress. A parent may also request an IEP meeting by submitting a written request. The IEP specifies what accommodations need to be made for the student in question. Regular classroom teachers are legally expected to abide by these accommodations.
Number 7. What would you like to learn about special education students?
I do not know how to fill out IEP paperwork. I have never had to determine what accommodations a student might need. Within a special education classroom, I do not know how to diversify instruction so as to meet the needs of all students. With one exception, I have not had the experience of working with self-contained special education students. I do not know what instructional standards apply to these students. I have also not had the experience of helping these students take and complete state or regular classroom assessments. Although I have heard about autistic sensory rooms, I don't know much about them. This would include how to set up a sensory room and the best practice for using this room.